Hey, welcome to another episode of Becoming a Cop, the YouTube channel for aspiring police officers. And with me right now is my co-host, the great Rob Berry. Rob, you look a little tuckered
How's it
out.
going? A little bit. First day of a Lateral Academy can do that for you.
Lateral Academy,
Lots
just
of
the
paperwork.
the mental. You know, a lot of people don't realize it, but your mental. If you go through a lot of mental thinking or like a lot of stress or something, it wears you out physically. People don't even
I
realize that.
mean, I would say it wears you out more than the mental. Mentally, I think you can actually get worn out more than just like a physical thing. If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, it does. Because sometimes I do the
Hmm.
consultations. If there's a lot where I'm constantly, my brain is frying for an hour and a half trying to help a candidate. When I get off, I'm like, I, I'm spent,
Yeah.
man. I am exhausted.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yep.
but yeah. So today we're going to be talking about something pretty cool. The title of this one is "Are You Ready to Fight? How Being Fit Can Save Your Life." And I know you know a lot about this because
Just a
th-
little. Yeah.
it's
I've been in a
huge.
few fights.
People don't realize it. That
Yeah. I mean, it because like there's the physical aspect of it, but then also the mental aspect too. Um, like I shared with you earlier, I mean, there's pretty sure everybody knows this quote, by Mike Tyson. Everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face. You know, that's true. You don't know how you're going to react until you get hit in the face, and you could be the most physically fit guy, but once that fight's on, that's kind of a make or break.
yeah, it's a big deal because the reason it is because when I know people that have gotten shot, and because they were in shape and then they were also mentally fit, they fought through it. They didn't just go, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to die. I'm going to die right here because I got
Hmm.
shot." That's not the time to be thinking of that, you
No.
know. And so the whole purpose of it. So let's start out, or let's say that you've never been in a fight. You got into the academy,
Hmm.
and
Sorry,
the
just laughing
the
because I know of one thing that happens in the academy that kind of tries to prepare you.
it depends. It's from academy to academy, but the
Mhm.
whole thing about it is what I'm seeing a lot across the nation is that academies are getting soft,
Oh yes, definitely. They're kind of going
and
away from the paramilitary, you know, aspect where it's like a high stress and physicalness to a little more collegiate, however you want
yeah,
to say that.
collegiate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if
Um,
you're not pressing people in the academy and really testing them to see what they have, they're going to be a little shocked. It's not the same, right? It's not the same
no,
to get in a fight in the academy to get in a fight in the field.
right. Because I mean, in the academy, you're realistically, no one's there to hurt you and you're going to be okay. Whereas on the street, anything goes. I mean, you get in a fight with somebody on the street, they're trying to hurt you. They're trying, to either get away, hurt you, whatever. And yeah, you gotta fight through that.
So why do you think academies are getting soft?
That's an interesting question. Um, I mean, there's a variety of reasons to it. One, obviously, recruitment's down across the nation for law enforcement. I mean, they're not attracting as many people as recruits as they want. They might have a lot of people actually going through the process, but they're getting weeded out for one reason or another, and you know, some standards have been relaxed a little bit to try and fill the vacancies, but still it's down. I mean, you look at LAPD as a prime example. They're I think they're having either 240 or 480. Well, they are allowed to, I think 240 or 480 recruits per year. But they're losing over 750 minimum a year. So it's like, So, and then like I said, it's just they're allotted 240 or 480. That doesn't mean every single person is going to graduate, or they're going to have that many people in each class. So, recruitment's down, and then, with recruitment being down, just the way, I guess, I don't want to generalize and say, the young generation, but it's different times. Like when I went through the academy, it was rough. Like you got yelled at every single day. Now there's some
Mhm.
aspect of it, like some academies still have that, but a vast majority don't. There's one academy I know that is still pretty tough on their recruits. That's San Bernardino County Sheriffs.
Mhm.
From
Mhm.
what I've heard, they're still very much like a paramilitary. They're like the old school, whereas a
I
lot of
wonder,
others aren't.
I wonder if Orange County sheriffs in California used to be pretty hardcore too. I wonder if they still are.
I think they still are. From what it honestly, from kind of what it looks like, the sheriff's departments are still pretty hardcore. It's the city departments that are kind of softening a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's a reason to that. I don't know.
I have a problem with soft academies because I think that's where it starts. You have to get recruits in the mindset of what it's going to be like in the field,
Right.
and they do they LAPD used to have a red man suit, right? A red
That's what I
man.
was thinking before. Yeah.
What were you thinking?
Oh, the Red Man suit. That's basically, for anybody who doesn't know, and I'm sure you can look it up. It's basically you have somebody dressed up in a big cushy suit, and you have to fight them with a tiny little foam baton. And the whole purpose of it is to get you in a fight, and you will get punched, especially in the face, because, like I said, the quote from Mike Tyson earlier. So that's the whole purpose, is to see how you react when you're actually in a physical fight. Now, obviously, you're not going to get hurt, mind you, but you're still going to get punched in the face. It's going to be uncomfortable and it's going to sting. But the whole purpose was, hey, see how you react in a fight, push through whatever you're feeling, like keep fighting until, finally the suspect gives up.
I've seen photos of people who have been in the academy in that red against the red man, and they got black eyes and stuff.
Yep. I think my academy class, I think a couple of people had like bloody noses and black eyes.
Yeah, but I think that's good though. I think it's good to let people know what it feels to be hit,
Yeah.
and if somebody craps out, or they tap out and they quit, then you shouldn't be here in the first place.
Right, because you got to imagine. So, like I said, Red Man suit. It's somebody in a cushy suit with boxing gloves on. So it's like they're not, it's not a bare fist. So, if you tap out in that, what's going to happen if you're out in the field with somebody who's actively trying to fight you? It's like, you know, fists hurt. Like I've been punched in the face before. It doesn't feel good.
No.
Yeah.
What do you think about these academies that have I think they're falling by the wayside, but the ones that have boxing.
I mean, I think so. I think boxing is good, good and bad. So, and I think it's good because it shows like you can actually, physically fight. You actually spar with somebody. But at the same time, I think it's bad not to. I wouldn't say to focus a lot on boxing, because I think like 95% of the fights as an officer goes to the ground pretty quickly. You're not standing up fighting with somebody.
Hmm.
So like I think boxing, it's good because it's you get hit, so you know what it feels like. But I think ground like some sort of grappling, like jujitsu, any kind of ground fighting, I think is far superior to anything else.
Yeah, I think jujitsu is probably better than boxing because unless somebody is an MMA fighter, a lot of the videos that you see on YouTube, say of police getting in fights and stuff, there's not a lot of face punching.
When you're talking about in the field,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, there's not generally, because when you're fighting with somebody, the whole purpose is to try and restrain them, get them in custody. So there is some face punching, as distraction techniques, or get them to stop punching you, maybe. But I mean, that's why I like jujitsu and stuff like that. Like I used to train Gracie, um, a long time ago. So they teach very fundamentals, and I think I like Gracie because it's not focused on like tournament style like jujitsu.
Mhm.
It's more practical, like actual real life fighting. So, and plus, in jujitsu, the moves, it's very easy to hit somebody in the face. Like I got hit a lot in the face when I was training jujitsu because it was an accident, but it's very easy that it could happen. And so training is jujitsu, I think is, like I said, far superior.
So, do you think that that academies should focus more on like what an actual fight would be like?
I mean, I think so. So it's got to be in a controlled environment only because it's very easy to get injured in jujitsu. Plus, also a lot of the moves in jujitsu probably aren't approved by the departments. I mean, in jujitsu, you can do a rear naked choke, like you can choke somebody out. Can't quite do that as a cop. That'll get you fired.
We used to do that.
Yes, that was back before they had cars.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
it's
yeah, it's I think it's a great technique if you know how to apply it because you cut off circulation to someone, cut off circulation, they pass out for like 8-10 seconds. By that time you can then put them in handcuffs and they come to and they're already in handcuffs.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it's very easy to actually hurt somebody.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I mean, yeah, it's because if you don't apply it right, like you can crush their windpipe and all sorts of bad things.
Yeah, we rarely ever use the bar arm, but we
Yeah,
were taught and it was authorized. We would just use the carotid hold and put somebody out.
yeah.
But so let's move from the academy to the field.
Hmm.
And going back to these videos that I see where cops are fighting, and you've got these officers, they're almost playing like touch. They're like touching, and it's continually stop resisting, and they're barely touching, and they're not using any real active force that I could tell.
Hmm.
Until finally some copper shows up on the video and he's the backup and he comes and he just takes control and he takes the suspect down and they're handcuffing him. But I'm thinking you take the mentality of these officers that are just dancing with the suspect and they're not doing anything really, Rob. They're not.
Right.
And you take that same officer and now somebody's shooting at them.
They're gonna be
What's going to
afraid to
happen?
shoot. They're gonna be afraid to shoot back. And I think so. The reason why they're like that is, I'm not saying it's good or bad or anything like that, but you know, it's the public perception. Like if you actually take care of business, like you said, the backup cop comes in and manhandles a person, and, deals with it. Everything's being recorded, so it's the perception like, oh, unauthorized force or excessive force. I think the reason why officers are hesitant to like do a swift, quick action, take them into custody, do whatever you need to do, is because for fear of being judged or like what might happen afterwards. Like, oh, I might get a complaint because it's, they deem it as excessive, or, you might get sued. That's a big one, and like it goes with shooting. It's like, again, it comes down to public perception and the fear of, something might happen to me afterwards. Not like, immediately if you're getting shot at, like, hey, like I might get hit. Let me make sure I don't get hit. They're more focused on they don't want to get sued or, you know, uh, disciplined down the line for something.
So what happens to these same officers now they get shot? Do they just take that mentality and they now I'm shot and they have the same mentality?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you think about it, if they're, the way I kind of look at it, it's probably going to rub a lot of people the wrong way. But hey, it is what it is. If somebody has a mentality of like they're afraid of taking action because of perception, or they might command staff might come down on them or whatever, that translates, if they get shot, they're not going to do whatever they need to do to survive. So it's because like if they're getting shot, if they're getting, if they're fighting with somebody or somebody's fighting them, it's me versus them. Like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make sure I go home, that I'm safe. Like, if if it doesn't look good, well, guess what? I'm safe. The suspect probably, they might get injured, but they're not. It's not going to be as bad as it could have been.
So
So it's like, go ahead.
Go ahead. Good.
I was gonna say, I mean, it literally comes down to whether you're in a physical altercation or getting shot or whatever. Hey, it's my life versus yours, and it's nothing personal, but I'm going to do whatever I need to do to make sure I go home, that I'm safe. That's the mentality you have to have.
So not all officers have that. So go ahead.
Oh no, I was probably jumping ahead because I imagine I know what your next question is going to be.
So what? So let's go with the mental part of it. What kind of mental frame of mind do officers have to have when they leave the academy and when they get in the field? What kind of mental state do they need to be in?
I mean, they need to expect the unexpected because that's work. Like, it's always something different. But you have to go in the mindset, like, I look at it partially like, okay, anybody can, like, you don't know what anybody, like, if you're driving down the street, you don't know if that person staying by that car is, got a gun, is going to shoot you or whatever. But at the same time, you can't be paranoid and think everybody's going to, like, hurt you. Mm-hmm. But you have to understand too, like, you're the one in control. Like, whenever you interact with somebody, suspect, not necessarily normal citizens, you're in control. So, like, the whole, like, ask, tell, do mentality, nowadays it's like ask, and then, tell, and then 10 minutes later, okay, now, like, you're trying to make them do it, and it's not going to work. Mm-hmm. Like, you have to be in control of any situation you're in, because, like, again, it's my life versus yours. So if I'm fighting somebody, it's like, I'm not going to ask like, okay, if you're in a fight with somebody, I'm not going to ask them to do something. I'm forcing them to do it. But you need to have that mindset of, like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure I go home safely.
So I've heard people who have been shot, and one of them is our friend Donovan Heavener. He got shot in the belly, and he was in pretty good shape. And the doctors told him that if he had not been in such good shape, he probably wouldn't have come out of it like he did. And so a lot of that is your physical fitness level. If you're a cop out there eating donuts and you're all rotund and things like that, and you get shot, you may not be in that mental state of mind, and you're likely not in the physical shape where your body can, has a will to live, so to speak. So what do? You used to train to go, climb the Himalayas and things like that, and that takes a lot of.
I'm slowly getting back into that.
You were like, you had to have like cardio down, and so yep. What does an officer need to do to stay in shape for the fight?
I mean, so I think a big thing is cardio, because, like, I could remember a time when, like, I wasn't in the best shape, early on in my career. Like, I was in great shape in the academy, and then things kind of trailed off after that, after I graduated. And that's a lot of people, that happens to them. So, like, I can remember, I think it was like my third year in, I think. Me and my partner ended up getting in a fight with a guy who was probably 6'5", maybe 230, 240. It lasted for, I remember this very vividly. The whole fight lasted about 2 minutes, but it took a minute and a half for the first unit to show up to our help call. So, like, So looking back on that, I say like cardio and stamina is by far the best thing an officer can do, simply because like you have to train as if you're in a fight with somebody that it's gonna take a while for somebody to get there. I mean, there's similar to the Red Man. I don't think LAPD does it anymore. I did a requalification last year in October, and one of the scenarios was um, they kind of simulated Red Man a little bit. It was more we were just doing baton strikes,
Mm.
but we went for 60 seconds and we're just doing baton strikes and like moving around, shuffling, like, and I felt kind of gassed at the end of it because I mean you're moving, it's stressful, stuff like that, and that was only 60 seconds. It was just baton strikes. So I
Yeah.
mean, cardio and stamina, like you have to have it and out in the streets because having big muscles, being able to like lift big things, okay, yeah, I mean that might help, but if you don't have the stamina for it, you're gonna be gassed out in 10 seconds.
Yeah. Years and years ago, there was a small little gym in my neighborhood, and it wasn't like weights and things like that. It was like a boxing circuit and a cardio circuit, and you would punch, um, punch a dummy for X amount of time, and then you would go and maybe do push-ups, and then maybe do running in place. Then you'd go boxing again, and it wasn't very long, but man, I was spent.
Yep.
Uh, that took everything out of me, and I didn't realize at the time that everybody knows that you can get in a fight, and once that 1 minute mark goes by, and fight, even if you had to fight for 2 minutes, it's not all about muscle.
No. I mean that's why like you look at jujitsu, and this is why I'm a big proponent of jujitsu. Like if you're big and muscular, you're in for a rude awakening for jujitsu because it's the small, scrawny, thin guys that can basically like you know do whatever they want to you because it's not about like size; it's about technique and how to conserve your energy. That's why, like, I look at the jujitsu competitions. There are guys out there, they're rolling around with somebody else for like 15 minutes. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering, what do they train in the academies, because you don't see that. You don't see anybody like taking command and just taking suspects down and cuffing them up and stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't even know how to put it into words what I'm seeing.
I mean, you put it pretty well in the beginning, and like I said, rubs people the wrong way. So be it. I mean, academies nowadays are getting softer when it comes to the stress, and the command presence. It's the way things have gone. Unfortunately, I think it's a detriment to you know departments to do that just simply because like if you're out in the streets, it's not going to be easy. It's going to the streets aren't fair. They're gonna if you're soft in the streets, they're gonna chew you up and spit you out.
Yeah, I don't know that people are actually. If I was to give a percentage, I would say probably 70-80% of police academy graduates don't know what it's like to be in a fight.
Oh, exactly. I mean, I think it's probably higher than that. I mean,
Yeah.
because theoretically, like, who gets in fights nowadays?
Yeah.
I played ice hockey, so we got in some fights there. But I mean, I think most recruits don't know what it's like to get hit in the face.
No. No.
I mean, whether it's a boxing glove or anything like that. I mean, you know, that's unfortunately that's the way it is because I think most don't do anything like that. They're in the gym lifting weights and stuff like that, not contact sports.
So, were there any times in the field when you got in a fight where if there weren't two of you, you'd go, "This guy's giving me a run for my money."
Oh, absolutely. Well, I mean, I named one of them where the first unit, the first backup unit, took a minute and a half simply because there was traffic. I remember there was another time where me and my partner, he's a bigger guy, uh, we had a call of like, I think it was a trespass or something like that, but it was a guy who was high on meth. He's a scrawny guy. It took everything we had just to get him under control. And like, if it was just me, good luck. I don't know what would have happened. I mean, I
Yeah.
probably would have shot him because at that point it's like he could easily overpower me. Partly because obviously the meth. I mean that'll give you a good kick. But it just if it was just me, I probably would have ended up shooting him because I just wouldn't have been able to overcome like what he was doing.
Yeah, and that was a lot of people don't realize LEPD, where you came from, those are two-man cars.
Yep.
You almost always have a partner with you. So if the fight's on, it's two of you against one.
Right.
And a lot of agencies don't have two-man cars.
A lot of agencies don't. However, what a lot of agencies do is if they're running single man units, anytime you get dispatched to a call, you'll have a backup unit who also gets dispatched. Now, obviously, you're not, most of the time you're not arriving to the call at the same time, but you have somebody coming most of the time.
But what if you don't? What if you're there by
Better
yourself?
pray you're able to last until somebody gets there, or you figure out a way to stay in the fight.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's like the whole thing that for me, what's that old saying? The more you sweat here in the academy, the less you'll bleed on the street. I mean, that's been
Yeah,
around.
something like that.
That's been around forever. But so tell me, Rob is out in the field and there's a fight, and then the guy pulls a gun and you get shot. What are you gonna do? You gonna lie down and die? What are you gonna do?
No, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to do whatever it takes to fight back. I mean, if I get shot in the arm, whatever, it's like I'm doing whatever I can. If I got to gouge someone's eyeballs out, to fight them, so be it. It's easier. So, I will say this. So, like, let's say I do get shot, whatever, and I'm fighting with the guy. It's easier to justify why you did something than people think.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's say I get shot and then, I've got one arm disabled or whatever. I'm fighting with the guy and I gouge his eyeballs out. Okay, well, it doesn't look too good, but I can justify it. Hey, I already got shot. He was like, I was already, he was able to overcome, most of my resistance. I didn't have any other options readily available to me. So I did that as one, a distraction technique, but two, then, if he can't see, then he's not able to actively fight me. Like, it's easier to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's like, do whatever you got to do to go home, like, or win the fight, like, because then you can explain it afterwards. Like, what's more important, being able to explain to internal affairs, command staff, whoever, why you did something, which that's probably not going to happen for a while, or doing whatever it takes to win the fight, because the fight will kill you. The rest of it's just paperwork.
Yeah, yeah. I think that that kind of explains it for me as far as what we came in here to talk about. I mean, the thing is for me is I don't want to see candidates get in the field with the mentality every single time they get in the police car that if something happens, there's just no doubt in their mind they're going to go home, because you have to have that fight in you in order to not only win the fight, but if somebody gets the upper hand on you and you get shot or something, you've got to go out there and believe that you aren't going to die in the street.
Yeah, I mean, like, my big thing is it's more your mentality and your mental, like, where you're at mentally than anything. I mean, you can be physically in shape, but if you don't have that warrior mentality, like, hey, I'm going to do whatever it takes to go home, your physical fitness doesn't matter at that point.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know that I worry about the current batch of a lot of police academies, and then the current batch of police recruits that I see that have graduated and are in the field. I worry about that.
I mean, I think it's a pendulum. It used to be like, for instance, when I came on, it was very much like more, like I said, more stress levels in the academy, do whatever it takes to go home. More like what we're talking about, it's obviously shifted to something a lot different where it's more, kinder, gentler academy. And I think at some point it's going to swing back the other way where it's going to be, like it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yeah,
however long that takes, who knows?
it has to be. I mean, you can't. There's going to be cops that are going to be losing their life because some suspect is going to see that they're projecting weakness and they're not able to overcome. The thing about it is that when you're in police work and someone starts getting froggy or something like that, or starts resisting, you don't sit there and meet their resistance.
No, you overcome it. I mean,
You have to over and decisively, right?
right.
And I'm not seeing that.
No, I mean, it's like if somebody's giving you resistance, you go above and beyond their resistance so they don't take a second to be like, all right, I'm going to try and one up them. And it's like, all right, you come at them, full, let's say full force, whatever. And they're like, all right, I don't want to mess with this guy. Like, and, unfortunately, and just the way it is, I mean, anytime you encounter a suspect, they're sizing you up. So they're going to see, okay, can I beat this guy? If they think they can, guess what? They're going to fight you.
Right. Right. Well, shoo. I think that was pretty good. You're going to be
so
busy
too.
tomorrow
I'm going to be busy for the next couple of months.
for the next couple of months, and so you have to be in good enough shape where you have energy
Yes.
to just do what you want. So
I've got the mental energy.
the
to
mental
keep pushing,
energy.
yes.
I sense that your energy is drained from you today.
Nah, I mean, it's been a long day. I've been up for a while, but that doesn't mean like if I got in a fight right now, I'd roll over.
No.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's gonna be good for tonight. But if anybody has any questions, leave them in the comment section after we get done here. And Rob, you got anything else you want to say?
No, I'm good. Ready for the fight.
All right, brother.
All
We'll
right.
talk to you guys later.
I see it.